The man who wrote Total Praise saved more lives talking about depression than he ever did singing about faith. Richard Smallwood, gospel music legend, built two legacies. One in music that made him famous, and one in mental health advocacy that made him a hero. Today we're breaking down both, and what you're about to hear will show you why this man's impact goes far deeper than any song. Richard Smallwood's music changed gospel forever. Total Praise became a modern hymn sung across churches of every denomination worldwide. It's the song with those piano notes that immediately transport you, the one sung at weddings, funerals, and every moment people need to feel something sacred. Whitney Houston performed his I Love the Lord in The Preacher's Wife, creating one of cinema's most powerful gospel moments. His other songs, Center of My Joy, Angels, What He's Done for Me, and I'll Trust You became staples that defined contemporary gospel music. What separated Smallwood from other gospel artists was his progressive, contemporary sound that pulled in young, educated audiences when gospel was considered old-fashioned. His classical training from Howard University, where he was part of the Celestials, the first gospel group at that university, gave him the tools to craft sophisticated, musically complex arrangements. He founded the Richard Smallwood Singers in 1977, then later formed Vision, a large backing choir that accompanied him on albums through 2015. This wasn't just church music, this was artistry that demanded respect. The accolades prove it. 8 Grammy nominations, multiple Dove and Stellar Awards, 4 Dove Awards on 19 nominations. Induction into the Gospel Music Association Hall of Fame in 2006. Major artists covered his work. Destiny's Child, Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder. When legends recognize your genius, you've transcended your genre. Smallwood built a young, educated following that was unusual for gospel artists of his era, proving that sacred music could be both spiritually profound and musically progressive. If you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button. Now let's talk about the legacy that might matter even more. While Smallwood stood on stages telling thousands to trust God, he was secretly drowning. In his 30s, after approaching a minister who was also a licensed clinical psychologist, he was diagnosed as 100% clinically depressed. He described depression as a manhole he would fall into, staying longer each time. He was consumed with suicidal thoughts, recalling moments where he did not want to live. His depression intensified after devastating tragedies. Close friends died, then he learned his stepfather wasn't his biological father. These compounded losses created unbearable weight. Here's where Smallwood became revolutionary. Instead of hiding, he spoke out. In the Black church and African American community, this was radical. He recognized that depression was something these communities refused to address. The standard response was, just pray about it, or have more faith. Smallwood challenged this directly, insisting that clinical depression required professional help, therapy, and often medication. Depression isn't a spiritual problem, it's a medical condition like cancer or diabetes. Smallwood became a leading voice banishing mental health stigma, especially for African American males and the Black church. He wrote his autobiography, Total Praise, specifically to help others struggling with mental health. He said he wanted to kill the stigma and encourage people to get help. He presented workshops covering various aspects of mental illness. At the Healthy Church's 2020 conference in Charlotte in 2016, he laid bare his struggles publicly, telling audiences it was okay to not be okay. Despite feeling like a fraud, standing before crowds encouraging them to trust God while privately battling thoughts of ending his life, he pushed through to deliver a life-saving message. He emphasized that therapy was the best thing that ever happened to him, helping him understand who he was and why. He spoke about combining faith with professional help, medication, and therapy, showing people that seeking treatment didn't mean weak faith. His message was direct. You can't just say, pray about it. You gotta get help. The impact cannot be overstated. In communities where mental health was whispered about, where therapy meant weakness, where depression meant spiritual failure, Smallwood said no more. He used his platform and credibility to tell people that getting help was necessary. How many lives were saved because he spoke up? How many people attended therapy, took medication, or reached out for help because he removed the shame? Smallwood showed that you can be faithful and still need therapy. You can love God and battle depression. You can write songs about joy and experience darkness. Seeking help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. His workshops, speeches, and autobiography weren't side projects. They were mission work extending his ministry beyond music. If songs lifted spirits Sunday morning, his advocacy saved lives Monday afternoon when darkness returned. Richard Smallwood's legacy lives in two connected spaces. His music continues inspiring worship, with Total Praise sung in churches everywhere and young gospel artists studying his progressive approach. But his legacy also lives in normalized mental health conversations, in therapy sessions people finally attended, in medications people finally took without shame, in lives saved because he said, "I'm struggling too." That's the Richard Smallwood legacy. A man who used his platform responsibly, who turned his pain into healing for others, who refused to let stigma silence necessary stories. His music echoes in sanctuaries, but his mental health advocacy echoes louder in the lives he touched and conversations he started. That's not just a legacy, that's a revolution.